Hello everyone, it's Martin Houghton-Brown, Secretary-General of the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award Association, bringing you the speech that I gave last week. Although we didn't record it live, I wanted to record it for you today. For those of you who couldn't be there, or perhaps you want to share it with your teams. It's pretty much unabridged. It's as I gave it in the auditorium in Lagos, Nigeria. And I hope it helps you to frame some of your thinking as you plan for your operators' business plans and strategies in the year ahead. And I hope that you would give us some feedback and let us know what you thought about Forum and perhaps what you think about this speech. Help us to understand how we as the foundation can help you. Well, I really came out of Forum with a real sense of energy, a real sense of hope and aspiration. I was super impressed by the young people who had moved from the IGE event into Forum, sharing their ideas, being really brilliant interlocutors in our conversation. And I was really impressed with Nigeria. What an incredible country and wonderful, wonderful people. But as we think about how we want to reflect on Forum and the way ahead, I want to ask you a question. What have we as the award to offer the young people of this generation? A generation that's increasingly being pulled apart. And crucially, how do we as the award family help shape their story? What kind of citizens do we want them to be? Hold that thought, we'll come back to it. So this past year around the association, something's been shifting in our global community. I think we're really beginning to see the first fruits of our association strategy. 2024 saw 1.2 million young people participating. That gets us back to pre-COVID numbers and is a year-on-year growth of 4%. And importantly, an improved 6% growth recorded on awards achieved, with us successfully operating in at least 120 countries. We really have beaten that pandemic slump. I think we're back on course, and I really want to offer my congratulations to all of you who've made that your mission over these past 3 years and have achieved such a brilliant outcome. There are lots of ways in which I think we're doing that, and I think we are finding fresh ways, even as we are 69 years old, to deliver the award. For example, in Canada, the Award Canada Way is re-engineering how the award works, and they had a situation where they were very successful, but most of their award participants came from just 23 schools. Now, building partnerships with public boards, trades colleges, virtual hubs, their potential reach has, grown exponentially. They could now reach 500,000 young people because they dared to ask, what if experiential learning could sit inside the school timetable, not outside it? And we're seeing a commitment elsewhere to innovation. In the Bahamas, where, by the way, they have the greatest merch. You see, I like my merchandise. Brilliant clothing. But they have mobilised their young people, empowering them, and the young people have responded. They've been mangrove planting and coastal cleanups, really building community pride and environmental stewardship. With their training coordination, their achievements make it visible to the wider Bahamian community, meaning more young people are likely to sign up. And then in Nigeria, where we just met some extraordinary young people, their Bronze First project turned what looked like an obstacle, which was the National Youth Service Corps, which had travel restrictions on it, into a place for innovation. So their NYSC members, who were scattered across 774 local government areas, completed their adventurous journey planning online in teams. And then they moved from their planning into walking in their own local communities. And then went back to their reflections on the online record book and cheering each other on through shared media platforms. That wasn't just a technical fix. It was a breakthrough in accessibility and maintaining safety. And Consequently, the award's now reaching tens of thousands of young Nigerians, educated, service-minded, ready to build their country. And it was a real privilege to reflect that back to His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, when His Royal Highness and I went to visit him earlier last week. So that's what innovation looks like when it's grounded in real purpose. Now, as I was saying earlier, the world around us is changing faster, I think, than any generation has ever known. We're in a world where young people are being increasingly isolated from reality by their virtual worlds, hidden behind their screens, hidden from power as their voices are simply not being listened to, and isolated from opportunity even as AI begins to change education and threatens jobs. So in a world where algorithms can mark essays, translate languages, even generate art, but cannot teach compassion, courage, or curiosity, we are able to teach what it means to serve. We're committed to opening doors, even for those who face the greatest barriers. So, for example, in Nepal, a pilot project brought the award to child labourers, young people who often have little time or support for their own development. And through the award, they gain not just confidence and literacy, but also a sense of belonging and hope for the future. So the award is counterculture to the instant and superficial. It asks for perseverance, teamwork, and reflection, the very muscles that make up citizenship. Sometimes the most profound change begins with the initiative of just a single young person. So in Mozambique, a student had moved from the vibrant and growing wonderful award in Zambia to a new school in Mozambique. And there she persuaded them to launch the award, resulting in the country's very first award centre, a powerful example of youth leadership, sparking national growth. That's because we provide what a recent Harvard Business Review article described as foundational skills, collaboration, problem solving, and adaptability. Interestingly, in the UK recently, the DV Award team have begun to build an alliance of organisations focusing on what it means to enrich communities and to enrich the experience of young people. They're breaking out of their online spaces, getting young people into shared spaces. And the UK government have been so interested and persuaded by this work that they're talking about creating national enrichment benchmarks with the award right at the heart of it. So even as technology accelerates, our message and our mission doesn't shrink, it expands. We're not competing with screens. We are completing what screens cannot do. So we're challenged, therefore, by this rapidly changing environment and, of course, by our strategy to understand how we can grow and what do we need to do next to get there. To be clear, it is one thing. We must scale up sustainably with sufficient momentum that is effectively funded to make it possible for at least 1% of the young people to have access to the award. And where you have achieved that in your nation, to push your goals to 5%, even to 25 and 50%. And we are seeing that happen in nations small and large. But scaling isn't just about one country leading the way, doing it brilliantly over here, or a single model of growth being copied everywhere. It's about teamwork. It's about a global network of colleagues, each bringing their own strengths, sharing what works, learning from each other. Think about the way that the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement work. They, this year, have reached so many of our countries, sadly, with disasters seemingly everywhere, responding to earthquakes in Nepal, bushfires in Australia, conflict zones around the world, and most recently, the hurricanes in Jamaica. Their reach spans nearly every country, but not because of a central authority dictating every action, but because national Red Cross and Red Crescent societies work side by side, sharing expertise, resources and support. And when disaster strikes in one part of the world, teams from across the globe mobilise, bringing their expertise and experience and solidarity to help communities rebuild. So when we act as a global team, every community, wherever it is, can benefit from our shared endeavour. Growth does not mean more control. It means more confidence in each other. And I do have confidence in you. I will champion your capacity and your solutions. As Secretary-General, I stand for you, with you, and to champion your role in the world of non-formal education and learning. And I know there is much that you expect of me, and rightly so. But I'm not your only champion. Every time an NAO takes on Forum, they take on the challenge of championing the entire association. So taking on Forum last week was a massive task, and I am deeply grateful for all that Joseph and the team in Nigeria prepared for Forum and how brilliantly they delivered it. I'm deeply respectful too to the foundation team who worked so hard for many, many months to prepare Forum and to deliver it alongside the Nigerian team last week. Thank you, team. So we've trusted our NEO in Nigeria with Forum, and wow, wasn't that trust well placed? Trust is at the heart of every story of growth. When a young person joins the award, they step into a promise of trust that those guiding them will protect them, encourage them and listen to them. So that's the context for their personal growth. And I think we've been doing exactly that this year, building protections into our culture and standards, ensuring safety remains at the core of all that we do. Thank you to everyone who has championed this over the past year. Because of our collective effort, we can now celebrate a global standard of safeguarding. Now, our focus must shift to the next phase of construction, building our global association, our community of operators who are financially self-sustaining and whose stories of award impact inspire young people, parents, educators and policymakers to sign up. I'm grateful that most of you took the time to look at your financial sustainability and impact in the pre-Forum survey. And you helped us to see where we all need to focus. You told us that 78% of your organisations need to reinforce your financial foundations. 39% needed to strengthen leadership capacity. 52% need help with strategic planning. And 66% have work to do on your business plans. Many of you have already identified where you need support. Let's be honest about where we can offer help and where do we need to ask for it. The foundation cannot and should not build this alone. We must construct it together as an association of operators. This must be a shared resource model. Across the world, if operators help operators, we create a culture of shared strength. Imagine an association where directors and developing NAOs work alongside mentors from those more established ones, sharing blueprints, materials, and even skilled hands to strengthen every part of our community. Imagine construction teams where national award organisations tackle shared challenges, from insurance to inclusion, and co-design solutions that each team contributing to the architecture of our global organisation delivers. And imagine building tools that allow every single award centre, no matter how small, to see itself as part of a global system, connected, accountable and celebrated. Because I do think that's how we will grow, centre by centre by centre, brick by brick by brick, not just country by country. We must therefore now recalibrate the way the foundation works. Our role has never been to construct every wall or lay every brick, but it is to ensure that each of you has what you need to build with confidence and skill. That means changing how we operate, enabling you to help each other, and directing our resources, including the vital grant funds we steward, to where they will have the greatest impact. I remember once taking over a large building in central London with a vision to use it for young people who were at risk on the streets. And the building was a complete mess. It was chaos. It was really problematic architecturally. And I'd take people around it and say, look, this is the vision. We want to make this building fit for purpose. And person after person say, Martin, that's impossible. It's just not doable. It's going to be too expensive. We won't be able to do it. But I had a vision and I was determined, as I know so many of you have visions too. And so with my relentless spirit, which I'm sure you're beginning to get to know, we agreed the plans. We raised the money and we began work. But this is really where I needed help, because at every stage we needed someone to check that the builders would be on track, that they'd got all they needed, and that they would finish on time and on budget. And so we hired Tom, and he was brilliant. He would report to me on progress, offer challenge, and support to the whole project team. And crucially, he ensured the various contractors were helping each other to achieve the same goal. And so we finished on time and to budget. And to this very day, DePaul UK in London is helping children find a safe place to sleep at night as a result of that work. What I didn't know until after I'd given this speech in Forum is that Michael Pizzarello, National Director in Gibraltar, is a clerk of works, which is what we call them in the UK, like Tom. So actually, what we all really need is a few Michaels around to help get this work done. But we at the foundation need to reflect on that. We need to think of ourselves less as the constructors and more as the Toms and Michaels, not doing the construction, but working alongside it to ensure that the design that we've all agreed is realised and that every resource is used as efficiently and effectively as possible. This is how we will build a structure that is not only strong, but truly fit for purpose, crafted together with each operator's strengths and context at its heart, with transformative change for the foundation too. So we will recalibrate the way the foundation works, moving ourselves from compliance to development, inviting each of you to pause and reflect on what this means for you too. Where do you see yourselves in this work? Are you bringing new ideas, offering your experience, helping others in the association to grow? Perhaps you're leading the way, or perhaps you're preparing for deeper growth yourself. What can you offer, or where indeed do you need support? Before we move forward, let's not lose sight of why we're building all of this. Every blueprint we draw, every foundation we lay, every wall we raise together, these are not ends in themselves. They are the means by which we create the conditions for young people to thrive. The award is not just about structures or systems. It's about shaping the character and resilience of the next generation. For young people, like a young woman I met, Veronica, because our mission is to ensure that no young person is left behind, even in the most challenging circumstances. So you see, I was at an event for World Fellows recently, and there I met this extraordinary young woman called Veronica. She had described how she had woken up one morning to the sound of explosions in her community. She lived in Kiev, and following that attack on her city, she fled the war in Ukraine, and she found herself in Italy, grieving and adrift. But Rachel, who leads the IAC, Rachel's Learning Centre, welcomed Veronica into the centre, and there Veronica rebuilt her sense of purpose and community through the award. And Veronica, despite the separation from people that she loved, found that in voluntary service, helping other refugees as part of her award, she found happiness. She shared that through the award, she found her sense of dignity and her place in the world again. I can tell you that as she shared that story with the World Fellows, there really wasn't a dry eye in the house. Now, her journey is a reminder that our work reaches young people even in the most difficult circumstances, helping them find hope and belonging. And that's the kind of citizens we're shaping. As Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I really know that when award recipients talk about their award journey, it really does give you the most incredible feeling. I'm sure all of us across the association have our own stories of people like Veronica, which show us how we are collectively helping to develop compassionate, service-minded and resilient citizens. When His Royal Highness shared the association strategy, Reach for the Sky, I think we could see that at its heart was exactly that vision. One of young people who are truly world ready, and where none of them are left behind. And I think we all thought, this is ambitious, it's exciting. But His Royal Highness knows that he's the architect, and the architect doesn't build the building. They need us, all of us, the construction workers, the clerks of works, the project managers, to build out the vision. You see, because when Kurt Hahn was thinking about education, the founding mind who worked with His Royal Highness Prince Philip as the award was begun nearly 70 years ago, Hahn said this: an enterprising curiosity, an undefeatable spirit, and above all, compassion is the foremost task of every educator. And those qualities aren't just for young people. They're for us too. You see, I think if we embrace the challenge ahead of us, we'll be curious. We'll want to learn. We'll want to see what could we do differently. And, Mandela once said, I never lose. I either win or learn. I think that's that spirit of trying new things, learning from both our successes and our failures, that I think if we collectively embrace, we will see real growth. The Bronze First pilots should be contagious, learning from one another, beginning your own initiative and then thinking about what it would take to bring thousands more young people on the first step of their award journey. We also need to be courageous, undefeatable if we face up to the challenges. If we don't change what we're doing, I think we're just going to keep on getting what we've always had, and we'll never break that global 1% participation in the award. I think creating change can be unsettling, and I'm pleased, therefore, that Hahn talked to us about being people of compassion. But that's the kind of people we want to build. It's the kind of citizens that we want to build. I asked at the beginning, what kind of young citizens do we want to build? I think it's exactly that. Curious, undefeatable, compassionate. But they'll become what we model. So I ask you, will you be curious? Will you seek a new way to build your organisation and find new methods to reach even more young people? Will you be undefeatable? As Gandhi said, defeat is not in my dictionary. Face the challenges. Will you grow the award? Find the resources you need to grow sustainably. Will you be compassionate, treating your colleagues wherever they work or volunteer with kindness and respect? Because I think if you do model these Harnian characteristics, if we give ourselves fully to this task, then I believe we will build an award that is possible and capable of serving generations of curious, undefeatable, and compassionate young people for decades to come. Thank you.